Hello guys, hello pro traders, welcome to yet another GW Pro trading session. It's Win Michael here, and in today we're going to be looking at EURGPY related pays. Alright, so what do I mean by EUR related pays, EURGPY related pays? These are currency pays that have Euro and also GBP as part of the currencies that make up the pair. Alright, so here in this video I'm going to be looking at the EURCHF. I'm also going to be looking at EURJPY. I'm also be looking at GBPJPY. I'm going to be looking at GBPCHF, and I'm going to be looking at GBPCAD. I'm going to be looking at the EURCAD. I'm going to be looking at GBPAUD. I'm going to be looking at GBPNZD, and also I'm going to be looking at EURAUD. I'm also going to be looking at EURNZD, and also I'm going to be looking at GBPZAR. I'm going to be looking at also GBPNOK. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing with you also points where we want to start seeing demand and also points of supply. I'm going to be doing this also using the Elliot Wave. I'm going to be showing you technical setups on when you should start preparing to take the next trading decision. All right, so without any further ado, let's get straight into the chart, and then let's look at it step by step on when you should start taking a trading decision and when those currency pairs that we should be looking to take up a trade and ones we look to avoid in the current trading week that we're about to enter. All right, so stay tuned, watch till the end, and if you have any questions you can drop in the comment section as well, and also like, share with friends. That's going to be the best thank you, and it also help in the creation of more videos such as this one. All right, so in this video here, we're not going to be doing analysis alone, but I'm going to be sharing with you also how I look for setup that are ready, and also pointing out points of supply and point of demand that can also help me put up some trade orders as well, also come in to take those trading decisions. All right, so here I'm going to start with the EURCHF. I like to look at my chart on a monthly scale. All right, I look at my chart first on a monthly scale because that also helped me to identify the bigger trend. All right, so it helped me to define the whole bigger structure of the market. All right, so what you want to be doing first is you want to be defining where are you in the market. All right, what is happening. All right, first you want to define trend. All right, are you in an impulsive market or are you in a corrective market? All right, so that way you'll be able to identify what you want to do and when you want to do them. Okay, first for this one here, we can see that overall we are in a trending market, and in this one here we have it that the trend is more of to the downside. Okay, we have it more of the trend is to the downside, and what we're going to be looking to do is to take wait for setups that are ready. All right, and we're going to ride with the trend. All right, so what is happening here with this one here is we have Euro also trending. All right, we had price trading more of sideways or a corrective format right back in 2016, 2017 and 2018. All right, however, price then broke the structure and then continued the trend. All right, so correcting a little bit of 2020, 2021, and then we have it that price is then ready to make the next trend down to, all right, whatever structure which we're going to be looking at. But here in this presentation, I'm going to be looking at first this 1.0 technical area. All right, because this is a whole figure. All right, so I want to see how price would fare approaching this structure. All right, it's a very significant number. All right, and also that will be where all eyes is going to be. All right, so are we going to be seeing the euro trading below, EURCHF trading below the 1.0 mark? All right, are we going to see that? All right, we're going to see we're going to see EURCHF trading below this point. Okay, so it's one of the biggest questions which I ask myself, and also when I'm taking trading decisions I tend to answer this question. All right, so let's just go ahead and then see what else is happening on a smaller time frame. All right, so if we zoom in a little bit, we can also identify that whatever we had as a corrective wave in here, which of the A, B, C, is now taken out. All right, so we have price also trading below the structure here, and we can as well say that price is definitely in a downtrend. So whatever we're going to be looking for is going to be looking for setups to be able to take that bearish decision. All right, we're going to look to follow the trend. All right, so however, for this one here, we have price currently trading inside of what could also be a channel downward. Okay, and many of the times which I always make analysis and I point out this, that the trend is your friend. Okay, so you want to be looking for setups that are really in with respect to the trend. Okay, what is also happening, and then ride on with the market, because definitely a professional trader wants to have the wind at its back. All right, you don't want to be trading against the tide. All right, you want to be swimming against the tide, because that's going to be difficult for you. All right, so For this one here, we have is that the overall direction of the trend is to downside. Okay, and what I'm going to be doing, and previously what I always did before, I always look for opportunities for a pullback, such as this one here, because we had one fake out here, and when this happened, and I knew that whatever is happening here is a pullback, so I wait for this second pullback, and I hopped in on the thread, and I got in on this stock structure here. So I'm looking for another possibility that we could have what could also be a pullback instead of here, and that could also be the nice time to look for sell opportunities here around the 1.0465 territories, where I want to be looking for the next sell opportunity. I'm going to have a little bit of stop loss just up here, and I'm going to target a very cool area. Okay, so I'm going to target a very cool area because I take structural targets. Okay, I don't just take random targets, I take structural targets, and once that is met, okay, I tend to hop off on the trade. All right, so the next target which I'm going to be taking is I'm going to be looking at a Fibonacci extension of this structure here. All right, so I'm going to be looking at the 127 Fibonacci extension, which is also the extended level here. So I'm going to be looking at taking any trade to hit 1.03 area there. All right, so I'm going to be looking at doing so in the week. So if we're going to be having price further extend down, I'm going to be looking at targeting this point here. So I'm just going to go ahead and change that to a more okay, so this is nice, this is nice. Okay, so I'm going to target this point here. If this trend is going to still continue, I'm going to have to target this point here, and we have it that from this point here down to this point is about 150 pips probably. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at targeting that point there because that's a cool area for a target. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that for the trading week. Okay, so I'm going to be waiting for a pullback, some sort of this area here, and I'm going to put my risk here. All right, because this is the previous high price having, all right, attempted to make a rush for the money here. All right, having fell here, drop, retest. So whatever is going to happen here, I'm going to waiting for a pullback, some sort of here inside of this area. I'm going to put my stop loss here, and I'm going to look to target down. Okay, so if I'm targeting down, that is going to be a very good trade because of risks to reward. I'm going to be looking at risking probably 48 pips and targeting 140 pips plus. Okay, so that's going to be a very nice trade for me, and also with my kind of setups here which I look at taking in the market. All right, so let's look at GBP, EURJPY, and also what I think of this one here and why I want to take certain trade decisions as well. And for this one here, I think whatever is happening here is very unique. I spoke about this many times that I'm looking at a contraction inside of this territory. So whatever is happening here, I'm looking at price contracting inside of this range. However, if we are looking at the possibility of this is an impulse and a pullback, you could also be looking at possibility that price could also correct in some sort here and then continue its move to the upside. It's all a possibility. All right, so one of the things which I recommend that traders should do most times is not to really look at predicting the longer term of a setup or a trend. All right, because whatever is happening in the market, we can also see that many times that we can also have it that price could also be making series of high highs, higher lows, and definitely there might be a shift in policy or some sort of fundamental or some sort of change in the economic structure. Okay, so and you might have it that this can also turn out from a corrective wave to an impulsive wave, and then we could also see price then start moving down to the upside without ringing any bells as to what it intends to do. However, price sometimes could also correct in some sort, then create this kind of fake out and then continue dropping down to downside. So however, what I do basically is I look for whenever there is failures on wherever there is strength in the market, and then I just capitalize on that one alone, because that is how I feel that trading should be done. I don't know about you, but that's how I've been doing my trading for the past 6 years, and it has been working for me. All right, so I tend to look at also adding risk to reward to also be in my favor. Right, I'm looking at taking more of a 1:2, 1:3, 1:5 risk to reward trade, and that has also been wonderful. Okay, so I'm looking at this one here on a monthly scale. Whatever is happening here, I think price could be on its way into some sort of wanting to correct. Okay, after this impulsive breakout, we have price drop first, retrace here. We could have a demand here, right? We have a supply here, and we have a demand here, and we have what could also possibly be a supply here. So I'm going to be looking at the possibility that if this could also be a contraction. All right, so I want to see when next price will contract into. However, if this would also be the very first step of the impulse, this could also be a corrective wave of A, B, C, and then we might have price then make and push it upside. I want to see that. Or however, we might just be having some sort of structures there that could also create an A, B, C, D, and probably we could be having an E way in this territory here, and then we could also be having the next move to the upside into back into 140, 149 territory. Okay, so we're going to be looking at what is it going to be, guys. But however, for this one here, I spoke about this some few weeks back that I want to start looking for bearish opportunities. However, if I have it at price would break through this point here, then I would be bullish on this one. But however, I was looking at some bearish momentum to still come in here, and now we have seen that one. All right, so what I'm going to be doing for this one here, rather, we did see some sort of contractive pattern here. Okay, some sort of contraction here, and whatever happened here couldn't take price to breaking this point still. So what I'm going to be doing, I was seeing more of supply greater at this point here, and the demand here after a double bounce couldn't clear this supply. So probably when price is back into this structure here, I would be expecting that either price would spear through this point and then pull back and then continue, or however, price could also create some sort of pullback structure there. All right, some sort of pullback structure back into a certain fib level or territory there, or some sort of pullback, all right, before we might be having another drop to the downside. So, but however, for this one here, I'm going to be waiting for only sell opportunities. Okay, so I'm going to be waiting for only short opportunities. I'm not going to be doing anything other than looking for an opportunity to short EURJPY to downside to further continue whatever is happening in the market. All right, so I look at the trend and I tend to capitalize on that. All right, so however, from last week I was looking at this structure here having to be a pullback, but this structure here was also a very funny one, and we also had it at price then drop from at Thursday to Friday. We also had price drop back into this territory. So this territory here is a whole lot of territory, and a lot of activities could also happen here. So for this one here, I'm going to be waiting for some sort of valid entry, say back into this territory such as this one, attempting to test supply here, okay, before I would then look for another step into taking the next trend decision to the downside. Okay, so for GBPJPY, however, for this one here, I think price should back into this support area. Okay, so I think price should back into the support area. We are still way off the zone. Okay, so this is a whole demand zone in here. Okay, so this is a whole demand zone here, and if we go back to a multi-time frame analysis, you can also identify one of the few things that also is happening with this one here. Overall, I will put it that whatever is happening here could also be a corrective wave, and we might also be having the next wave to the downside. Okay, might be having the next wave if price fails to continue up here. We might be having the next drop to downside. So when I was looking at this one here, I pointed out that there could also be some reactions, okay, of the market, and then we also see certain structures also playing nicely, having failed around this point here, because what I'm looking at here, if price fails to respect this support right around here, all right, whatever support that was created here, if price should fail to respect this and spear below this point here, I think at that point in time I would really be looking at BS taking advantage of whatever is happening. But however, for this one here, we can also see overall that the BS are also in a very good advantage, because I was looking at a wave 1, 2, possibly 3, and I'm looking at some sort of corrective structure here. Just going to go down to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I'm looking at some sort of 1, maybe a wave 2, maybe a wave 3, and some sort of corrective pattern here, as you can see. But you guys understand that many times I speak about this in the market, that structures could also change. Okay, structures could also change, and whatever could also be a corrective wave can also turn out to be an impulsive one over time, because of the strange in also maybe the fundamentals. Okay, so this also was supposed to play out as a wave 4, Okay, so I looked at this as supposed to play out for a wave 4, and when I had price drop back into the zone here, I knew that one of the things I was going to be waiting for, if I could see price then break previous structure here, then I'll look for a bullish opportunity. But however, from this point on, it was all bearish. Okay, so it was all bearish for the remainder of the week. Okay, so we had price drop below this territory here. All right, so here for this one, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be waiting for a pullback. Okay, so a pullback inside of this territory here could also be a nice opportunity to continue looking for short opportunities. But however, if we have price continue down to bounce into this point here, I think I'm not going to be taking any short trade right around where we are, because we are in a no man's land. Okay, so we are in a no man's land, and this area here is not best for any trading decisions. However, if we could have some bit of pullback here, and with a valid structure there, we could also be looking at taking some short trade from that point back into the zone, because that is going to make the most sense in terms of risk to reward. We're going to be looking at our risk somewhere above this point here. Then we're going to be looking at our target instead of this territory here. All right, so that's going to make the most sense in terms of risk to reward. All right, so you don't want to be taking crazy trades. Okay, so let's look at one of the setups here which I respect a lot, and also I've been looking at this one quite a lot, and I've also put up some trade calls on this one here which have also turned out nicely on 2 occasions. At the very first attempt, which I also attempted to hop in on the trade, I attempted to hop in on the trade right here. All right, so I attempted this one, and then price continued upside. On my next attempt, I got it right on this one. After price broke below this point, test, and then was about to drop, I got it on trade, and which is also on my YouTube channel here. You can go check that out, GBPCHF. Okay, so that big drop, and we got it on the final target which we wanted to see of this structure here. Okay, so we have completed this whole drop here of 281 pips. All right, so for this point here, all right, you can also understand that for a very long while I've not spoke about this one here, because I was waiting for some sort of structures. Okay, I was waiting for reasons to be able to take the next trading decision. Okay, so for now we have reasons to be able to take trade decisions, and also we have found valid structures here. Okay, here we've had structures there, and we've seen that price have respected that. Okay, so price having back into the support that was also tested, and overall what looks like more of a bearish structure or a downtrend being dominant trend for this one here. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at this one here. So however, what I was looking at initially, I was looking at some sort of setup for a WXY. Okay, so this price failing to continue from the Y leg here could also create another failure from this point here to the downside. So I'll look at supply stepping into the market, and we might also be seeing price continue to drop further into this territory there. Okay, so I'm going to be expecting for that to also play out, and for a longer term. However, we have a very huge structure here which is also a huge structure. Since we missed out on the trade last week, and it's not best to be looking to be in a hurry to take any trade decision for now, so I'm just going to have to wait and then see whatever is going to happen. If price would break below, I'll look for a retest. Okay, if price would break below, I'm going to wait for a retest, say here. If price would then make a push to the upside, then I'll wait for that time to then short to the downside. So however, whatever is going to be happening, or whatever is going to happen for this one here, I think I'm going to have to wait to take the best trading decision as well, in order to make the most of whatever is happening in the market. Okay, so for this one here, we just have to wait. All right, so overall on a weekly scale, we are bearish. So this initially turned out to be what could also be a possibility for a bullish flag. However, that has not been invalidated. Okay, that has not been validated as compared to whatever is happening. So this can also continue moving in a downtrend. Okay, so this can also continue making series of lower lows and lower highs to complete. But however, if that would also further move down into breaking this support here, then I would look at this as invalid until price breaks this previous structure here. Okay, so that can also be looked at invalidated. But however, price can also continue to make series of higher highs, higher lows all right, or rather lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows in this territory until we find new directions for price. So I'm going to wait to take a short trade decision for this one, irrespective of how long it will take for me to do so. So probably price back into some sort of territory such as this one could also be a very valid entry for another short trade to the downside. Okay, so we look at GBPCAD. Okay, so let me just take you guys to a monthly time frame on GBPCAD, and then let's look at whatever we have here on GBPCAD and what is the trend. All right, so anyone looking at GBPCAD, I would say we are more of, for quite a while now, for the last 4 years, we've been more of sideways. Okay, more of sideways, but overall for this kind of structure here, I would look at more of a bearish bias rather than a reversal from this point on. Price having moved up here, there could have been supply here. Okay, so I don't know, right? There could have been supply right at this point here. Okay, and there could have also been resumption of demand right from this point here. All right, so we have way huge demand, way huge supply, and we are in a very big, I would say, a very large gap. Okay, so we have a very large gap here, and we have supply right around here. I'm just gonna go ahead, put the line there, and then I'm going to see it. All right, so I'm gonna have supply way up here, we have demand way down here, but however, for some time now we have been trading more sideways. So we're gonna be looking at whatever is happening here, and we're gonna take a trade decision. However, for this one here, I think price might also want to do one of this. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tweak this a little bit and then change this into this. Okay, and I'm going to point this out to you. Okay, so if I'm looking at a bullish bias, okay, if I'm looking at a bullish bias, say we could also have a possibility that price could also be creating an impulse corrective wave. Next impulse whatsoever could also be as a consolidation here to expand for the next move to the upside. I think I'm going to be looking for a more valid support area. Okay, I'm going to be looking for a more valid support area because this is a corrective wave. Okay, so this is impulse, this is correction. So am I going to be looking at that this impulse is complete for a wave C? Am I going to be looking at that? I think not. Okay, because we might just be having the next leg wave down into a very important Fibonacci retracement areas here, because I look at such areas here as being important. Okay, so I look at such areas being important. However, previously we also had support way back here. Okay, so I had support way back here, and at this point on we had it at price then moved up. Okay, and from this whole point price fell here. Okay, so price fell at this point here, creating the next drop. Okay, so if I'm going to be looking at some sort of bullish momentum to step in, I want to see that in the end of the day, at the end of the day, that this structure is going to be a great decider, because if I have price trading below this point here, I'm going to be looking at supply, or I'm going to be looking at supply being the dominant force here, because this is seriously weighing on price to shift it back into this support right here. Okay, and if this support doesn't hold price, we might also be seeing price continue to slide down below as well. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be looking at. So whatever is happening here, I would look at whatever is happening here with these 3 candles here as a massive pullback of the larger degree trend. All right, so whatever is happening here is an impulse, but I'm looking at it as a pullback. So I'm going to be looking at this as a pullback, and I'm going to start by, apart from looking at that, I'm going to start by putting up some Fibonacci retracement areas which I expect for price to respect. Okay, and this is going to be, first I'm going to be looking at 61.8. okay, we'll look at 61.8, and this area also is an important area which also price, as you can see, price respected in the bid to an upside. And also I'm going to have to drag this into this territory here. So I'm going to put this, the whole of here is where I'm going to be looking for sell opportunities. All right, I'm going to be looking for sell opportunities when price gets into this yellow territory. Okay, so this is between 50% to 61.8 Fibonacci retracement of this swing right around here. Right around here, right around here. This is an impulse. Whatever is happening here could also be a corrective wave. And I think there is still more strength in the correctiveness that is expected to come, because price did fake out, right? Did move up here for the next drop to have come here. But however, there was some sort of strength that came into the market right from that point. And I think whatever could also be happening in the next trading week. Okay, I'm looking at next trading week from 28th to the 3rd of December is going to be, I'm going to be looking at more of an impulsive move. Okay, I'm going to be looking at more of an impulsive move, a bullish trend or bullish setup to also continue. If we have, I'm going to be looking at more of a slow week. Okay, I'm going to be looking at more of a slow week. We might be having price trade sideways for some time, slow week. Okay, but this support is going to be very important. I'm going to be looking at this support as an important structure. Okay, I'm going to be looking at this support as an important structure here. I don't want to see price trading below this point in the next trading week. So whatever could also send price going a little bit down into this territory could also ring a buy opportunity. Okay, so it's going to ring a buy opportunity, but I'm going to be looking at more of a slow week. Also, what I spoke about here, I'm going to be looking at for a slow week, about maybe slow 1 week, slow 2 weeks. Also, same setup with what we had here, which I also spoke about with a slow week. You don't want to be seeing price clear opening price and then staying around this kind of territory. Okay, so this is also what is also happening. Price then clear back into this territory. So I'm expecting more of a slow week. But however, this is going to be our supply territory. Okay, it's going to be a supply zone for the next drop to downside. So majority of what we're going to be doing for the whole of the next few weeks is going to be waiting for supply here. Okay. All right. So also EURCAD. All right. So if you look at EURCAD overall, I could basically say that in more of a sideways market for quite a while. Okay, I would say I'm in more of a sideways market. Overall, we have price trading inside of a bound range. Okay, so support, resistance here, and we are at the middle. Okay, so at this point in time, we are at the middle, and having moved up from the support area could, okay, so we might be having price create the next leg to the downside. So however, for this one here, I'm going to be looking at the next leg more of here. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the whole leg. So whatever is going to be happening here, I'm going to be looking at this as a retracement. Okay, I'm going to look at this as a retracement. All right, and you can also identify that this move here right from Friday, this was Friday, just one single day candle. All right, just one single day candle, and I would say that there is a change in the whole market. All right, so there is a change. Okay, so until that change fades out, okay, we're not going to be doing anything different rather than looking for opportunity to follow up in that trend. Okay, so whatever is happening here, I'm going to be looking at an opportunity for price to back into this zone. Okay, because this is going to be a very strong important environment. Price having bounced once, bounced twice, bounced the third time, and then speed below that point. I'm going to be expecting price to at least retest that point there, and then before the next drop could also come. Okay, so I'm going to be waiting for that one to also happen as price have cleared this area here is one we also traded. All right, and at this point here we took some trades. Okay, so you can go over to this channel and then check that out. We took some trades right here. We took some buy trade in here, back here, supply, sell here. All right, back here, and price was trading low. Okay, so we had what also seemed as a double top that should have sent price down, but however, price cleared the range, setting price to test upside. So whatever could also be happening here might just be a pullback. You might see price then move into the next range to the upside. Okay, so I expect this to happen, and then from this point on, I'm going to be looking at sell opportunities. Okay, I'm going to be looking at sell somewhere inside of this territory, a whole territory such as this one here. I'm going to be looking for sales. Okay. All right, so we look at GBPAUD. For this one here, we don't have any decision to make. Okay, so we don't have any decision to make. We don't have any alternative to make. Okay, so what is happening here is a bullish flag. Okay, it's a bullish flag, and there are no two ways about that. Okay, so I'm going to be my recommendation for this one here is to look for bullish opportunities. Okay, look for just bullish opportunities. All right, you can't be looking for anything less. Okay, so this is a bullish flag. This is a breakout. Okay, this is an ABC contraction. This is a breakout. There was some sort of contraction here, and that was sustained with this move here, and definitely we might also see that continue to the upside back into this territory here. All right, so this is a bullish breakout. Okay, so we just want to be doing whatever the market is doing. All right, so the H4 look just like this. I think price should also further continue upside. That should be a possibility. That should be a possibility. Okay, so this is bullish. This is bullish. So I'm going to be looking at when price is going to stall. Okay, so price is going to stall. Its point I'm going to be looking at. But however, let me look at this one on a much bigger time frame also with you guys. Okay, so here we had corrective wave here. All right, when we have a breakout, okay, to the downside, fine. Okay, but until price breaks certain key areas or certain demand territories, we can as well expect that bulls can also step into the market and then take advantage of the current market situation. Okay, so this, we had price trading here, retracement, impulse. This could also be a retracement, and we might have the next impulse to the upside. However, for this one here, I'm going to be looking at some certain areas here which I want to see price respect. Okay, I want to see price respect this zone. Okay, because this was the last supply area. Okay, that was the last supply area right around here. Okay, so whatever is happening here is a massive push. Okay, this is massive, this is strong. Okay, I'm going to expect it to move up into some important areas there of 1.9, okay, on a longer term. So what I'm going to be doing for this one here, I'm going to be only waiting for opportunities to be able to take bullish decisions. So I'm just going to have to parallel this. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to recommend. Okay, so you want to have a parallel this. Okay, so a parallel line, and you want to parallel this to the upside, and you can wait for whatever pullback could also be in play. Then you can also continue this one to the upside. You want to see structures. Okay, so I want to see something like that. Then I'm going to continue whatever is happening to the upside. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, because this is bullish, I want to see price back at least into this point here, 1.89, probably 1.896. Okay, 1.896 could be an important area there because it was previous resistance there. I want to see price back into that point. All right, I'm going to be waiting for some sort of valid structure, okay, to be able to take a trade decision. Okay, so last week I was looking at this whole structure here, and that also exploded to the upside. It was way crazy. All right, so we'll look at next GBPNZD. For this one here, it looks rather different, just in its makeup. Okay, it looks just rather different because apart from the fact that we have supply here. Okay, so we have structures here, right? We have support, resistance. So I want to see how price would fare inside of this point here. If we have price pairing through this point here, I think that will signal a bullish continuation to the upside. All right, there's great supply here. Okay, there's great supply inside of this territory, and you don't want to be buying from this point on because it's going to be so reduced in terms of risk to reward. I don't want to buy here. I don't want to sell from this point on. Rather, if I would look at selling opportunities, I want to see price failing to continue upside, and then I would look for sales only when that is done. Okay. EURAUD. If we're looking at the possibility of EURAUD creating a double bottom here, having previously tested this previous structure, which was also a structure right from 2018, we could also be expecting that price could also be in an attempt to test back previous highs. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at that also as a possibility. However, we are what in the possibility could also be downtrend, but for sure, one thing price does, okay, one thing price does is price tends to move more in a trading day, a trading week, a trading month. Okay, you might end up finding out that in a certain trading week, you might also have it that price could also be set up to be bullish on a trading week and then close the week bullish. Okay, the next trading week might also have it that BS could also set in and then continue downward. Okay, so it can also happen in a trading day. So one day, 1 week. It can also happen in 1 month. Okay, 1 month. Okay, so this was a typical example of 1 month. Okay, so 1 month from here right down here was more of bearish in a month. You can see that the next month, which is also the month of November, also started with bullish continuations, and that also was able to send price to the next leg up. We could also see that this one could also continue. However, that ended last week. Okay, so we could be seeing that there could be a possibility that this could also continue, but however, for this one here, I'm looking at the overall trend. Okay, so where are we in the market? Where are we in terms of structures? Okay, so are we going to be having the next leg create here? Okay, because we had some sort of huge structure here. I would say this was an accumulation, and this also was reflected in this push to the upside. Okay, so this, are we going to be looking at price breaking this point? If price will break this point here, I'm going to be looking at price testing a very strong fib areas here, or back into a pullback of this major swing to the downside. Okay, so we're going to be looking at a possibility of, and also probabilities. Okay, so possibility to what could also happen. Okay, and then we'll look at what is happening. Okay, so if we're going to be having price breakout of this point here, we're going to be looking at 38.2 fib retracement of this swing. Okay, that's mostly the first areas which I take into consideration. Okay, in terms of a retracement of a very strong impulse such as this one here. I look at the 38 first. Okay, in all my analysis. Okay, I look at that over the years. All right, I take little concern of the 23.6 territories. I take little concern with that, and I consider this more. Okay, so if we're going to be having price go up from this point here to break this point here, with massive price coming to test here, but if we see that any failures from this point on will take price or will cause price to break this demand. Okay, so this was the demand zone, and if price will fail twice in the bid to an upside, we might also see that price will also shed back, breaking this point on and then testing the 127 fib extension of this bigger swing here. Okay, so this bigger swing extension is also possible target which I'm going to be looking at if price would fail to make continuations in this area here. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at a two-way trade decision here. Okay, we are bullish to set up for a bullish trend, all right, because this is very strong in momentum. Okay, so if we go ahead, then let me just go ahead, adjust this a little bit, then create this to a 5, and then let me just go down to the 30 minutes time frame, and then you can see that there is a lot of strength here and there's a lot of momentum here. Okay, in terms of rise. Okay, on a single day. Okay, we had price move of 1.74% on the day. It's way big a move. Okay, so we left to see whatever price is going to be doing, but I'm going to be looking at more of bullish momentum to still continue here. However, we're looking at more of a risk of market mode, and that could also further send Euro and AUD to upside. Okay, so we look at EURNZD. We're going to be looking at bullish opportunities here. What are we going to be looking at hopping off first? This is going to be a very important territory for price to react round. Okay, so this is going to be important territory for price to react around. Having gone down to a weekly time frame, we can see that this was price trading more of corrective wave, drop, retest, drop. So probably we could also be having that price could also be one looking for a opportunity to test back this point here, and then once we see weakness, think that would be the best time to look for short opportunities. Okay, so that will also be nice to see in the week ahead, right? So it was really a big strong move that created a breakout of this sideways structure that we have been more of in about 3 weeks. Okay, so I expect this to continue moving upside, also with respecting certain loss. Okay, so for action reaction trade, I'm looking at this 260 pips. I'm looking at this. All right, so it's probably complete. Okay, for an action reaction trade. Okay, it's complete. All right, so GBPZAR for this one here started the bullish momentum, having broken out of what could also be a wedge pattern here, and we have it that we have A, B, C, D, and E. This is a wedge pattern, and overall with an uptrend. Okay, so with an uptrend of an A, B, C pattern. Okay, and remember I always speak about that the B leg should not go further or greater more than 1.27. okay, if I'm having a B go up to 1.618, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to look at this as a B. Okay, but this one was cool. We had price drop back and then shedding into this structure there, and we had price then continue from that point to the upside. Okay, so this was also cool, and we're looking at the start of the next push to the upside. Okay, and for this one here, initially I didn't take this trade. Okay, so why I didn't take this trade was I was looking at this as an A. I was looking at this as a possible B. So whatever is happening here, as at last week, I was convinced, okay, that price is ready to then rush up in a fashion. Okay, so this is not a B leg anymore because price is currently trading just above 127, and it's way above what I expected it to be. Okay, so whatever is going to be happening here is going to be much of a pullback rather than a C leg. Okay, just slight pullback. We can also be looking at correcting and then a little bit and then moving up to the upside. Okay, so that's going to be what we're going to be doing for the whole of the week. Okay, so if price will correct in such a fashion, that would be the best time to look for bullish opportunities. Okay, we are bullish, we are bullish, we are bullish, we are bullish, we are bullish. Okay, GBPNOK here, I did take some cool trades off this one here back at this point. I took some good trades off at this point here. I was able to get some good trades here and I hopped off here. I thought that I would be seeing more of a pullback. Okay, so but I hopped off here, and I'm not going to be in a hurry to take the next trend decision for this one here. I'm just going to have to wait. It's gone, it's gone. All right, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. Okay, I was working on this one, but I didn't take the trade. All right, I didn't take the trade, but I was working on this one here. But it's gone, however, it's gone, so we're looking for next opportunities. All right, so I'll be back in the week to share with you my own setup and what I see in the market and how I intend to take some trade decisions as well. See you next time. Subscribe, like, and also share with friends. That's going to be the best. Thank you, and it will also help in the creation of more videos such as this one. All right, drop in a comment which pair you want to see next in my next analysis, and I will gladly add them to my next trade video. I'm going to share with you as well what I also think of those trades and how I intend to approach them. See you next time. I love you all. Subscribe, share with friends, and always remember that GW Pro is a community for traders, and also it's there to improve you on your trading. Gwen Michael here. I love you all and remain blessed.